Welcome to Retire Smart Louisiana. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Gary Powells of Retire Smart Louisiana. And remember, folks, the retirement storm is upon us. What are you going to do? Where are you going to take shelter? We know you're going to give Gary a call today and take shelter by working with him. Today's show is very important and very timely. We're going to talk about what happened to the pensions. We know that they are becoming a thing of the past. Gary, how are you today?
I'm doing great, and how's about you?
I am doing fantastic, thank you. I'm excited to see you and actually to talk about this subject because so often we hear people say, oh my goodness, the face of retirement has changed so much through the years.
Absolutely.
We used to be able to rely on pensions and Social Security, and that was enough.
Yep.
But not anymore. So I should ask you, Gary, first of all, what is a pension? And where are they going?
Well, you know, over the years, major corporations realized that they were fitting the bill for everybody. And a lot of corporations actually went downhill because of it. They had to put so much money aside for each employee, you know, for retirement. And then when the federal government stepped in and says, look, we got some ideas for you, you can actually have your employees fund their own pension plans by creating these 401ks, 403bs, 457s, and plans like that. And they're more of a defined contribution plan instead of a pension plan. The problem with that is, number one, now a lot of these people that are putting the money in there, it's all tax deferred. Back then when we had the pension plans, of course the employer had to pay the taxes on that because they didn't put the money in there. But the corporations were able to write that off. So today it's completely different. It's kind of going at the wayside. Now there's a few places that are still paying pensions, you know, post office and places like that. And that's great. But here's the problem with pension plans as well. In today's world, inflation is sky high. The pensions themselves don't keep up with inflation. So you expect that if you're going to be living off of a pension, you have to have something else in place besides that pension. It becomes a real issue. So setting up your retirement plan has to also take in consideration that you're not going to keep up with inflation with a pension plan. So we usually try to offset that with Social Security benefits, but here's the other problem.
Okay.
Just a few years ago, we got almost a 9% increase in Social Security benefits, and now it's only like 2%. But we're not really seeing inflation going down like everybody's talking about because we're still seeing high prices in groceries, building materials, the cost of living, health care, everything. I mean, everything is more expensive today. But we haven't seen the wages go up all that much, and that becomes a problem. So now we're starting to see people taking early retirement as well. So then in addition to all this, they're taking their benefits a little too early in some cases, and now they're getting an 8% decrease instead of an 8% increase after age 62.
Oh, wow.
So we have to take all those things in consideration. So the pension plans were a great thing. They really were. But now we have to focus on what we got available. And what we got available, if it's a qualified account that the government recognizes, basically the government's still in the driver's seat. So you got to follow the government's guidelines. You can only put so much money away a year. You're required, you know, to set up the account a certain way. And later on in life, you're going to be hit with the required minimum distributions where you're going to have to start pulling that money out at a certain tax rate. And we don't know what that tax rate is going to be.
True.
We just don't know. So besides all that, inflation is really a critical element in the planning we do today because bottom line is we're seeing everything we're doing taking a hit. When you're putting money in something that's making a 2% return and you're paying a fee of 1%, and then inflation is eating it up by 8%, you're going backwards.
Yeah.
So the plan you may have had 10 years ago, you can't use anymore. So we've got to adjust that. We really have to adjust that. And I know you're feeling it just like everybody else.
Of course.
When you go to the grocery store, are you seeing the cost increase every day?
Most definitely, and it's been increasing for some time now. I remember going into the grocery store, a bag of clementines had gone up from like $3.99 to like $8, and I thought, what? It's the same bag, it's the same amount. And it's everything, especially when you shop organically.
Oh,
wow.
Absolutely.
Prices are through the roof for organic food now.
And that's what's crazy. We're paying more for them to take the chemicals out of the food now.
I know.
Isn't that nuts?
To take better care of ourselves.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And it's actually cheaper for them to produce those products, but they charge us more for it.
Yeah.
So to do the right thing for your body, you're paying more, so you're taking another hit.
Yes.
It's just a never-ending cycle. And look, if you look at, when you go to the grocery store today, what you have in your basket that costs $100 compared to what you used to have in that basket, you probably have 2 baskets for $100 10 years ago. It's ridiculous.
It's true.
So we're all feeling the crunch.
Yes.
So that's why it's extremely important when it comes to these pension plans and these 401ks. We understand that none of them are really keeping up with inflation right now.
Yeah.
So we have to adjust everything we do when we put a plan together for our clients. And it could be in tax-free growth plans of some type. And then we look at Roth IRAs as well. But here's the problem with the Roth. You can only make so much of a contribution at a time when you're first starting the Roth off. Now, if it's a complete transfer of wealth from an IRA or 401k into a Roth, we can do a conversion and do it all at once.
Okay.
And that does help. But here's the problem. Because taxes are so high, most people are not going to do that. So we have to stretch it out over a 5-year period or whatever. Well, there's always a 5-year look back on the Roths because it's still a qualified account. So one hiccup can destroy a portfolio in a blink of an eye if somebody makes the mistake of actually spending money out of that account before they hit the 5-year mark. And we've seen it happen.
Yes.
And just recently I had somebody call me up and say, hey, I got a problem. I said, what's that? Well, I took the money out of my 401k and I knew I had so many days to transfer it to something else and I missed the deadline. What do I do now? Well, there's nothing I can do for them at that point. That's why it's extremely important that you sit down with a retirement specialist that knows what to do prior to you putting yourself in that situation.
Sure.
Nobody wants to lose money, especially with the government.
Yeah.
Because we pay enough in taxes.
Most definitely. And so all of these things, Gary, you have to factor in when someone's coming into the office for the very first time and they're blessed enough to have a pension. You have to take a look at what that currently is, factor in inflation. We haven't even touched on health care. I know you put that piece into place. You also factor in taxes so that your clients will have peace of mind.
Absolutely. And you're at a critical point when you're going into retirement anyway.
Yes.
You have to make some really hard decisions, and that's the problem. A lot of people don't know how to make those decisions. So they're taking advice from people they shouldn't be taking advice from, and vice versa. There's so much. We got information overload today.
We do.
And literally, people break down because they don't know what to do. They're scared. They're scared to make a move because one guy's telling them, don't do that.
Yeah.
You're going to mess up your whole portfolio. And the other guy's saying, no, that's what you need to do. So it's like, what do I do?
Yes.
Well, you need a real financial guy that's going to sit down with you and figure out what is the right move. Where have you made mistakes in the past that we can fix? And let's move forward. Let's don't just sit there because it's not going to fix. The problem's not going to get fixed if you don't do anything.
Right. What are some common mistakes that you've seen, Gary, when it comes to this before we take our first commercial break? Just making the wrong decisions with the pension plan overall?
I think the biggest mistake is not being proactive.
Okay.
And taking that first step and meeting with somebody to help and get that help that they really need. Because sometimes people are embarrassed that they made these mistakes and they don't want anybody to know about it. But guess what? It's ruining your life by leaving it like that. We need to fix that problem, and we're willing to do that. We're willing to help anybody. We want to make the right choices for our clients and point them in the right direction. You know, it's a real great feeling when you find that a person has these problems and you literally fix them. It changes their life.
Absolutely.
It really does.
Well, let's give an opportunity to other folks to have their lives changed. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. To our viewers at home, there's a number for you to call on your screen, and that number is 888-568-1755. What you're calling in for today is a consultation with Gary. Let him get to know you. What are your goals? What are your dreams? And what are your hopes for your retirement years? Do you have someone to guide you? Do you have someone that can navigate this course? It's very confusing if you don't know where to start, but Gary is offering you the gift of his time. All you have to do is take advantage of it. Call in today to 888-568-1755, or if you're rushing out the door, we've made it even simpler. You can grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That's going to take you right to the landing page of Retire Smart Louisiana, and you can schedule your time with Gary accordingly. Remember, when it comes to planning your financial future, when it comes to planning your retirement years, you need to get it right. You've worked your entire life to get there, and you deserve to have peace of mind. Gary is offering you that today. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We have so much more about pensions when we return.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to Retire Smart Louisiana. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Gary Powells of Retire Smart Louisiana. And we are here today because we know the retirement storm is upon us. Where are you going to go to take shelter? Where are you going to be when it hits? You're going to want to call Gary so that you have protection during the next few years of retirement. Gary, a great show that we're having today, talking about kind of a dinosaur, if you will, the pension plans. They're kind of going away, becoming extinct. So the question that I have for you is, what do people do right now if they don't have a pension, if they're going away or they're gone? What other things can be implemented in their place?
Of course, we still have the government plans, the 401ks, the 457s, the 403bs, the TSPs. All those things still exist.
Okay.
That's probably not going to go away. But are they the perfect plan? No. And here's the reason why. Once the government took over these plans, pretty much they're in control. They control your whole destiny. You can't turn it on to you after you're 59 and a half, which is a problem because that's my money, that's your money. Why is the government controlling what we do with our money? And then they're going to penalize us for using our own money. So I try to convince the younger generation, don't do that. Okay, if you're going to use the plans, only put in the plan what they match. So if they're matching 3%, don't put more than that in there than that. That's basically it, because you're creating a tax time bomb and you're locking that money into 59 and a half. We have to start the separation from the government long before we get locked in. Okay?
Okay.
And what I mean by that is we have to diversify. We have to have more than one income stream. It's okay to have qualified accounts, but don't put all your eggs in one basket, because when that falls apart, that's where all your money's at, right?
That's true.
So your whole pension plan could fall apart. So what we try to do is we try to diversify a little bit more, and it could be with Roth conversions as well, but there's also a problem with Roth conversions, because once you stop working, you no longer can do that. And it becomes a real issue for a lot of people because they wait too long. So I tell everybody, come in as early as possible, sit down with us. We'll go over all the details of what they have in place, and we'll figure out what we can do and what we can't do. Because I'm just like everybody else, folks. I'm restricted by whatever the government puts in place, as guidelines. So if we can move away from the government's guidelines and put you in something that grows tax-free, we're going to do that. And there's a lot of things out there right now. There's even insurance products out there right now that you could put money in and take loans out and not even worry about the 59.5-year-old penalty.
Okay.
I'm putting a lot of the younger people in that. And we're starting off, I've got grandchildren that are being put in plans at 12 months old, and the grandparents are putting away $100 a month or even $1,000 a month. You're talking about generational wealth here, because that gets passed on from one generation to the next. If they don't use all the money up, there's still a death benefit in there, and that goes on to the next generation. So with your 401ks, they don't want that.
Okay.
What they want you to do is spend that money and pay the taxes when it's time that you have to pay about 73 years of age. It used to be 70 and a half, okay? So bottom line is they want you to use their plans. They don't want you to use your own plans. So we tell our clients, it's okay to use their plans, but let's make an adjustment here and stop putting all your money in those type of plans.
Yes.
And let's put you in a position that you could use both.
Okay.
Right? And put you in a better, you're going to be in a better position during retirement because, yes, the government's going to control some of your destiny, but you're going to control a big part of it yourself.
Okay.
And you can kind of make a decision which money you want to use. And it still ties back to the pension idea because bottom line, that's why it originally existed. People didn't have to worry about saving money back then. You had a pension, your employee was saving it for you, you didn't have to do anything. Today it's different. So the younger generation has to think differently than what we do. Don't you agree?
I totally agree. I think it's very interesting when you think about it because planning is everything, Gary. Like you mentioned a couple minutes ago, you didn't have to worry about retirement years ago because you had two main sources, like I mentioned earlier, the Social Security and the pension, and that covered everything. But now, when we choose to retire, we're responsible for creating our own paycheck a lot of times. And so you have to get creative. And I love that you're using different avenues to generate income streams for people, because when we talk about that, income is the outcome truly in retirement, isn't it, Gary?
Absolutely. That's the most important thing, to have those income streams because it replaces that paycheck.
Yes. And so when you think about it, obviously, build the solid foundation for me of someone that's coming in to sit with you for the very first time. And let's say you're creating a pension. What are the things that you're looking for? Because I know the viewers at home are wondering this as well.
Well, the first thing that we do is we look at debt, okay? Because a lot of people going into retirement, they may have a little bit of debt, but we've seen some people come in that have a lot of debt.
Okay.
And I can tell you a story about that. You know, everybody thinks that the lawyers and the doctors and the prominent people have a lot of money, but really they don't. They put a lot of their money in assets, and those assets drive income, okay? They're smart about it. So, but there's a few people that make mistakes with that, keeping up with the Joneses. You know how that goes.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I've had a client that literally came to the office, and he basically told me, he says, I need $300,000 a year to survive off of. And I said, that's a lot of money. And I said, why do you need that much money? And he threw his paperwork on the desk, and I started looking at all his bills and everything, and it just was unbelievable.
Really?
72 years old, living in $1.5 million home. He still owed $800,000 on it. He was still working, and his health was going downhill quick. And he was on his third wife. That was another bad situation.
Right, right.
And she was much younger than him. I think she was 53.
Okay.
And she wanted to keep living that same lifestyle. And I told him, I said, look, you're killing yourself. You can't keep working forever, you know, and he realized it. He said, what am I supposed to do? I said, well, let's take a look at what you have put away for the future. And when I broke everything down, he had about $300,000 saved. And it's not enough money for somebody in his lifestyle to make it. He had no pension.
Wow.
He was going to get Social Security benefits, and then he wasn't married to her long enough for her to start, you know, bringing in a good enough salary to bring in that extra Social Security benefit, and she was too young.
Yeah, exactly, 53.
Yeah, so that was not going to happen.
Right.
So bottom line is, this guy's going to be 80-something years old and still working. He's going to work himself to death.
Yes.
And the bad part is, she's going to be left with a lot of bills because the house debt's not going to be paid off. So there's no pension plan. There's only one Social Security benefit. They're in trouble.
Yeah.
And, you know, there wasn't a whole lot I could do for him. But at the same time, he had several offices that he was paying for. And I told him, look, you need to consolidate, bring it all to one office and get rid of all these other offices. We can sell those properties. You can put them up for sale. I can reinvest that money for you. And I said, at least you'll have some kind of plan in place. It took him a while, but he finally decided to do it. And over a 2-year period, he sold those properties, and we started reinvesting that money. And he'll be fine, but he's not gonna be able to live off of $300,000 a year. It's just not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So people sometimes, you know, they promise themselves things that they can't achieve.
Well, Gary, I'm glad that he came in to see you. I truly am, and thank you for taking the time to help him. To our viewers at home, as you can clearly see, Gary is here for you for whatever situation is happening in your life. He understands how scary it is to walk through the retirement arena alone. He doesn't want you to do that. He's offering you a complimentary consultation today, and all you have to do is pick up the phone and call in 888-568-1755, 888-568-1755, or if you're rushing out the door, we understand that you're busy. You can grab your smartphone, click on the QR code at the bottom corner of your screen. That takes you right to the landing page of Retire Smart Louisiana. You can schedule your time accordingly with Gary. He's here for you. He's heard it all. Trust me, it's a no judgment zone. You can come in with any situation that's going on. He will design a plan for you. We're going to take a very short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. I have so much more with Gary on Retire Smart Louisiana when we return.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter, the one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Welcome back to Retire Smart Louisiana. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, joined today by Gary Powells of Retire Smart Louisiana. And to our viewers at home, we have a little bit of a lagniappe for you right now. And you know what a lagniappe is. It's a little something extra, right? Well, there's a website for you to go to. It's rsretirementquiz.com. rsretirementquiz.com. Gary and I were talking on the commercial break, and that website actually is literally perfect for you to go to if you're questioning if you're really ready to retire. It's going to take a few moments of your time. Just put a little information in. Remember, it's a lagniappe just for you. It's rsretirementquiz.com. Gary, how is that with lagniappe?
The accent is perfect.
All right.
Louisiana people are going to understand what that is, so they know.
I love it. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. I feel honored to be able to say that. So overall, it sounds to me like Wall Street has pulled a fast one on the American workers. Is that true?
Oh, absolutely. Well, think about it. You know,
Okay.
all of us now with the 401ks and the 403bs and all those type of accounts, we're kind of forced to be in the stock market, you know? And
True.
years ago, before those type of plans were in place, most people weren't in the stock market unless you were very wealthy or you were an odd duck because you put money in the stock market and you rolled the dice, you know? And back then, people were very protective over their assets. You know, back then, people used to bury money in the ground. You know?
That's true.
They didn't trust the banks. They didn't trust anybody.
And in
so
potato sacks.
Oh, they surely
Yeah.
weren't going to trust the stock market. So anyway, today's a lot different. The kids today, that's all they know, you know, is 401ks. They don't know nothing about pension plans.
That's true.
So at least very few of them. But anyway, by doing that, you know, who controls the stock market? Basically the wealthy. I mean, if you're sitting on $10 billion and you pull it out of the market, you can crash a stock in a heartbeat. And we've seen it happen. So we can't do that, you know. We're not sitting on $10 billion. I wish it was, but I'm not, okay? I'd definitely share with some of the people out there. I really would. But anyway, we have to be careful when it comes to retirement because those type of plans are not guaranteed, all right? Because you're pretty much 100% in the market.
Yeah.
Now, you can kind of diversify a little bit with inside, you know, with safer funds like money market certificates and different things like that you can do, bonds. But all those things still have risk. So bottom line is I prefer to put people in things that are guaranteed and safe.
Okay.
And we do a lot of that today. So when our clients come into the office, I show them the obvious. Okay, here we are. You're in this plan right now. You've lost a quarter of your portfolio over the last 3 or 4 years. Why are you still making the same mistake? Let's put it in something that's guaranteed, give you a guaranteed income for the rest of your life and a guaranteed income for the rest of your spouse's life. That's extremely important because guess what? That's a pension plan. But it keeps up with inflation, not like a regular
Perfect.
pension plan. So it's extremely important that we show our clients all these different things that are out there.
Sure.
But the biggest thing is that by using these tools that we offer to them today, they're going to be able to go in there and see where their downfalls are and where their weaknesses are, and we can help them fix that. And all they got to do is, call into the number, and we can take care of that for them.
Yeah.
But I'm excited because we have these new tools now.
Yes.
Well, number one, because sometimes when I sit down with people, something will slip through the loophole.
Okay.
I might not be able to gather 100% of the information. And I will tell you, a lot of times on the first appointment, people hold back a little bit.
Sure.
Because
makes sense.
They're not trusting you yet because they don't know you.
Exactly.
But with these tools, they're answering simple questions, and they're not invasive. It's to the point, and it's going to help them. And so when they come into the office, I already have an idea where they're sitting.
That's fantastic.
So it's one step up, and I love
it just takes a few minutes, which is fantastic. Like you said, it's so easy. It's so, I guess, user-friendly is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's non-invasive.
Benefits everyone.
Yeah.
Well, Gary, only a minute and a half left of our show this week.
Goodness.
It goes by so fast, but I know that you have a very special message to our viewers at home. Perhaps those viewers that are thinking, gosh, should I pick up the phone and make that call today? What do you want to tell those folks specifically?
Folks, get that little extra lanyard right now. Go to the site, rsretirementquiz.com, plug in your information, get the answers that you need, and we'll help you put together a plan that's going to work for you. It's not cookie cutter. It's catered directly to your needs and answering all the questions that are going to be on that retirement quiz. It's not going to cost you anything, but if you don't do it, it could cost you everything.
Great point. Gary, thank you so much. To our viewers at home, remember, the retirement storm is upon us. Where are you going to go to take shelter? We want you to call Gary and take shelter with him, with his retirement plan. That number to call is 888-568-1755. And again, if you're curious about the quiz, it's actually rsretirementquiz.com. rsretirementquiz.com. Takes a few moments of your time, put some information in, and let Gary know where you are on the road to retirement. If it's time to make a turn, wouldn't you want to know today? Again, the number, 888-568-1755. Finally, I just want to say, who dat, go Tigers. We know you're out there. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed. Thank you for watching Retire Smart Louisiana with Gary Powells. We look forward to seeing you back 1 week from today for another Lagniappe. Stay tuned.